So today I wanted to start a series about what high school teachers, counselors, principals, what they don't tell you. So I want to first start off by saying that this is my own personal experience, and it may not be the same as yours. It may be the exact same, or it may be completely different. So just a little disclaimer before we start. So this first episode is going to be about college and what teachers, guidance counselors, and principals, what they don't tell you. They tell you the good about college, but they never tell you the bad about college. At least at my school, they always make college seem as if you go to college, your life will be pretty much set. I mean, you're going to get a nice job, you're going to make a lot of money, or a good amount of money, and you're going to be way better off than if you didn't go to college. And that's what told you. That's what is told to you. It's not necessarily a lie, but it's obviously they leave out tons of factors that should be mentioned in such an important decision. A lot of factors that they don't include, which is very strange because going to college is not something that you can just be like, okay, I'm gonna go, and okay, I don't want to go anymore. Well, as you can drop out, it's just harder because you have to pay a lot of money for these things. A lot of the biggest fact and the biggest one of the biggest reasons why I'm making this is because, like I said, I'm a senior, and they don't ever say things. Whenever we go to assemblies, right? They have senior assemblies and stuff, and then they're always like, okay, SAT scores, ACT scores. You need to have all these things good. You need to have community service hours. You need to get them scholarships to help pay, even though it's very unlikely you to get a full ride or entirely paid off. So you're gonna have to owe a lot of money. But I've never heard them say, you're going to have to owe a lot of money. That debt is going to be with you for a while. That debt is very hard to get rid of, and they can use tactics like if you don't pay it, it could garnish your wages, which is when they take money out of your paycheck. When you do get a job, they could take some of your income tax money if you get it. A lot of things they don't tell you. You could have that debt for, depending on what you do, 10, 20, 30, 40 years of your life where you have debt. That means for at least 20 to 30 average, maybe even if it's 15, that means all that time you have the burden of, okay, I have all this money I have to pay. I have all this stuff. I can't really do anything else. I can't have any like business endeavors. I can't maybe do anything I wanted to do because I want to make sure my debt's gone, which is the way you should do it. You shouldn't let debt sit there because you get interest, and it's just bad for everybody. So that's one of the things they don't tell you. Now, even though everyone I think knows that you're obviously going to have some kind of debt, they don't. They don't. It's weird that they don't say it. It's like, they stress scholarships, which is because you're going to need quite a bit of money depending on what you do. But then they don't say that you could be paying this for a set amount of years, and if you don't pay it by that time, this is what happens. It's very weird that they leave these parts out because yes, obviously you're going to have to pay money to go to college. It's not free and it's not going to be cheap depending on what you do. So it's very weird that they would leave something almost really important that out. It's very strange. Now the second thing is that they tell you you're pretty much guaranteed something for going to college, which is so far from the truth. You can go to college and get a bachelor's degree. You can get a master's degree. You can get an associate's degree. You can do anything. You can get any kind of degree you want. You're not guaranteed anything. You're not, and I think that's kind of obvious, but you look at things like, you look at comment sections, some of my own friends that you talk to, it seems like they don't really understand it. It's like, what's your plan after college? I'm just going to go to college and going to get a job. That's it? You're not where? Do you know how to do interviews? Do you understand that an employer may not really actually care that you went to college? Maybe they want experience. So, is everyone knows the case. Experience does beat out education all the time, because if you have someone who has 2 years of college and then someone who has 2 years of work in the field they're going for, right? You have two people. One went to college, one has debt. One didn't go to college, but has been working for 2 years, making money without debt, and furthering their career. Obviously, the employer is going to take the one that has the 2 years of work experience over the one with 2 years in college. So now you're that kid in college, you don't have a job. That means you can't start paying back your debt that you owe because you don't have a job to. But you thought, how can I not get this? I have a degree. This guy doesn't have a degree. Well, that's not how everything works, and that's why this is the second one. It's I would say the second biggest one is that they don't tell you these things. Like I mention all these things because they always do PowerPoint slides, and they never ever once say that you're not guaranteed anything. So it's the fact that they don't tell you is just by lying, because you would think, you could say, okay, well, it's just obvious you're not going to obviously just be guaranteed anything. But why do so many people think that? There's never a step ahead. Like, it's so weird that someone would rather go to 2 years of college but not do 2 years of work, and they can build up from that. Like, I don't see how that doesn't make sense to people, but you know. Now the third one, I think really speaks to me because I'm currently kind of in this situation. I've had talks with my principal, with my guidance counselors, with APs or assistant principals. I've had talks with all of them in the same room separately. Talks with college counselors, that are specifically there to help you get to college. And right now, I don't know exactly what I want to do, which is perfectly fine. Don't let anybody tell you it's not, because yeah, you need to start thinking about it, in high school and stuff. But most people do. But it's, as I've learned, before I would have said, well, how couldn't you know, and things like that. But as I've learned from personal experience, is that you might go through high school completely fine. You get by, you do everything, you're all good, but you don't know what you want to do. So the thing is what this one is don't be forced into doing something. Now, I've had personal talks with like my summer principal and other people, all in the same room, kind of like a council meeting, because I had a specific special situation, and they really, honestly, very bluntly tell you go to college so you just don't sit around doing nothing. Which I don't know if that sounds like a good idea to some, but it's honestly not. Because what they're basically saying is, we don't care that it takes or it costs a lot of money. We don't care even if you don't want to. We don't care even if it's not the best thing in your interest or your parents or anybody's interest. We just want you to do something for the sake of doing something, which doesn't make sense almost really anywhere else. This is an important decision that you, not you alone, but you are the biggest person. You will make this decision, and you shouldn't be forced into it. And principals and stuff, at least mine, came off very, biased in one side. Obviously, they're for college. I'm not trying to say college isn't right. College is right in a lot of circumstances, but it's also not right in a lot of them as well. It's kind of like a balance you need to be able to understand. And they don't tell you the things that would shift you the other way. They only show you, hey, go to college for these reasons, but no one ever says it's okay to not go to college. So don't let people force you to go to college, whether it be your parents or teachers, guidance counselors, whatever, just for the sake of going. Yes, you probably don't want to sit around at your parents' house for, a couple months, a year, or 2 years, whatever you want to do. But as long as you have a relationship that's good with your parents and stuff, that might be acceptable. But you don't want to go to community college or a regular college, university or whatever, and waste, hundreds of thousands, or not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of dollars on a major that you might change, or you might just not really enjoy it. You might really not be fit out for college, and that's perfectly fine. But these are things they don't tell you. They don't say it's okay to not go to college, which I don't understand how they don't. Now, the final reason before I wrap it up is I was thinking about a good final reason. Now, there's tons of them, but the one I'm going to include, which might not even sound like a big reason to be honest, is statistics. What I mean by that is, like I mentioned earlier, they show you that on average, you'd make more money if you get a degree. Which, what I mean by this is do the research for yourself. Like if you're really thinking about going to college and you're not sure of it, like if you don't have something set, like a set goal, a set career, then think about it. Don't just blindly just pick a college, because your friends are going or whatever. Think about it because, college debt is all-time high. College tuition is the highest it's ever been. There's tons of kids who go to college and then end up getting jobs that they don't even need that degree for. So pretty much they have a worthless degree, a lot of money in debt, and then they're working a job that they didn't even need to do that. So just take a look at your options. Don't be forced into something you really just don't need it. Just understand that there are reasons to not go, and then there are reasons to go. But you need to find out what's good for you. Obviously, some professions, whether it be doctor, lawyers, things like that, the stereotypical ones, you will obviously need to go to, a lot of education. That's perfectly fine. That's obviously the one and only path. But don't think that if you don't know what you want to do yet, that you only have one path, because you don't. Many people have been successful without going to college. And that's not even like, I'm not talking about like Bill Gates and people that have gone and dropped out, or people that are millionaires, just regular people. You literally can do so many things. Come on, in this day and age, people make, literally millions off of YouTube, on Twitch, social media sites. Not saying that that's what you should strive for, but there are so many options. Do what makes you happy. I I didn't understand that at first because what makes you happy might not be a career, but if you can find something that takes that into a career, then it's just going to be so nice. Because what I've learned from not a struggle of high school, because I got through high school, it wasn't that hard, um, is that don't let people force you to do things. Like, you are yourself, and you are no one else's. Even if your parents drastically want you to do something, you don't have to do it. But don't think that means you're rude. A lot of the problems I had was just for the simple of not even talking back, just asking questions and telling, the adults that no, I don't want to do what you're saying. Like, I don't think you have the best interest in mind for me, and I think you're pushing your ideas on me. Simple things like that is comes off as disrespect, or if you deny what they're giving you, ungrateful. And I've had it where my mom was against me, my principal was against me, all of them were against me. Like, they didn't share the same view as I did, which is honestly just to let you do you. And if you mess up, then you mess up. that's that's fine. You can mess up and you can succeed, you can do whatever, but as long as you make the choice and at the end of the day it was you. You don't want to go to college and then be like one of the people that has tons of debt, and it's just like, why didn't I ever question anything? You want to be able to say, I tried something and failed, but that's perfectly fine because I chose 100% to do this. Now, some things I have to clear up. This is my first ever YouTube video, so I'm sorry for the quality of the mic, and I couldn't think of anything to put in the background, so I just have just an image. I don't even know what it is yet. So, like I said, all that, I'm sorry, but I wanted to, while I have some time waiting, because I'm technically already done with high school, and I'm just sitting around here doing nothing. I realized one of the passions I have is I like to talk a lot, but only on certain cases. Like, I don't like to just blab about random nothingness, but when I find something, a good subject, or something that I'm intrigued with, right, whether it be politics or social things or whatever it may be, I like to try and get an input in there. One that I hope is unbiased, and one that is neutral, one that you look at things from both sides, because at this point I hope I don't come off as you shouldn't go to college. It's just I have experience as a senior, because I know when I was a freshman I wasn't even thinking about this stuff. I wasn't thinking about that. Everything was fine. I didn't have to worry about it. That's why I'm making these videos, or I want to make these videos, is to just let people know. Just, you might have this problem. Hopefully you don't. Hopefully you don't have it where you only think you have one option, because that's not the case. A simple Google search will take you there. I hope this video will help. That's why I want to make it. And I hope I can make more, and I hope I can be able to change someone's minds, because until I did the research, until I thought that I was wrong. I thought that everyone here is against me for just wanting to look at my options and not do what they wanted me to do. But that's perfectly fine. It really is. So just, if you take anything from this, just understand that it's your decision, and don't let people be forced and force you into something that you don't want to do. Because the last thing you want, and I know from personal experience, which isn't much in life, obviously, but just, you don't want to be like, I should have said something, or I should have did something. The regret. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to do that. So I thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you continue to watch more of this series if I do it. I hope it gets some views. I don't know. I hope as long as it helps somebody. Because like, if I would have watched a video like this, I would at least got from it that I should have made my own decisions, and I messed up a lot because I didn't do that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day, good night, or wherever you are.